Welcome to Whips in the Dungeon 101.32. Today we're going to talk about getting your whip out of the toy bag and into play. Many of you have gone to play parties and you see the whip guys get there early and they're practicing with their whips and throwing, and then it's time for dungeon play and you see the whips get rolled up and put back in their toy bag and you don't see them the rest of the night. And when I talk to other whip throwers about why they don't play more with their whips in the dungeon, it's usually a lack of confidence issue. And so I want to review some of the techniques that we've gone over and talk about, even if you're a beginning thrower, being confident enough to get your whip out of your toy bag and into play using some of these techniques that we've looked at together. Let's first look at a whip and the way it's constructed. All whips have a heel knot that forms a pommel, and whether it's a bull whip with a stiff handle or whether it's a snake or a signal whip that has a shot load in it, that shot load or stiff handle can be used for impact play, whether you're striking the shoulders or the butt or some other meaty part of the body. So you can do impact play right away with a whip and get it into dungeon play without even actually throwing it. If you go back to the erotic technique video that we did, there was a couple of erotic techniques that work real well when you're just beginning with a whip. If you imagine my sheepskin as a whip catcher, and you know, these are the shoulders of the male or female whip catcher. If you drape the whip across their shoulder and you just drag it across the skin, you can do that over either shoulder. You can loop the whip around their neck and drag it off their neck, and that creates a sensation for sensation play. The four techniques we taught. Let me get my signal whip here for that. First technique we taught was bow and arrow. Again, you're not trying to crack the whip, you're just getting your distance and going for that controlled puff. Just the controlled puff. You're just playing with the skin with the bow and arrow. Same way if you come over the shoulder, just a controlled puff. Horizontal, again, we're not removing skin. You may not be where you're at skill-wise, so you're just doing a controlled puff. We might call that a butterfly kiss, and you're creating sensations on the skin, and at the same time you're getting mileage with your whip, and you're working on your accuracy and your control. The other technique we taught was the forward figure eight. Again, I'm not trying to crack it. I'm just wanting to get my whip out of my toy bag and into play. So I'm going to do controlled puffs with that. If you're in a sex positive environment and you know the person you're playing with very well, you might have negotiated play with toys. A pommel is very much like the shape of an insertable, and if you cover that pommel with a condom, you could certainly use it to play and do erotic play using your pommel as an insertable. So there are a number of techniques we've gone over very shortly that will help you get your whip out of the bag and into play, even the very first night you walk into a dungeon with your whip. And today's keyword is white hide.